What's good, everybody? My name is Joshua McLean, and welcome to the Rogan Experience. Hello, welcome back. Another episode. I think this is episode number. Actually, I have no idea, and I've just gotten started. I want to say 6 or 7. Anyway, it doesn't matter. It's a special one. Our next guest is somebody. If you've been in the industry for even a short amount of time, the chances are you've already met this amazing human being. So you know what? Let's just bring her on, ladies and gentlemen. Anyone else that's watching, JoAllyn Cartwright. Look at this, JoAllyn.
Oh, I love it. I love it.
You're the only guest that I actually have a T-shirt with their face on.
Oh, awesome. I love it.
JoAllyn Cartwright, welcome to the show.
Yay. Thank you for having me. Truly an honor to come and spend some time with my Joshy.
Absolutely.
I love you.
Well, feeling is mutual. I mean, I can't remember where we first met. It had to be at a show. Right?
Was it Daytona?
Could have been Daytona.
Oh, it was either Daytona or Jacksonville.
Yeah, it was one of the quilt shows, and immediately we kind of hit it off, and we stayed in contact. And then I think we had an event here at the shop, and then the rest is history.
Exactly.
But you're everywhere. So I obviously know you. So do me a favor, introduce yourself the proper way.
The proper way. So I am JoAllyn Cartwright. I actually live in Gulf Breeze, Florida. And I work for Martelli Enterprises, which is also located in Pensacola, Florida. They are a manufacturer that we do, 80% of the creating here in Florida, which is absolutely fabulous.
That's awesome.
And, they are the home of ergonomics.
Yep, they take the pain out of quilting.
That's right.
Okay, so yes, Martelli is an amazing product, and I was aware of Martelli, but truthfully, you are what made me like Team Martelli.
Thank you.
Let's be real, and that's no knock to Martelli. That's more of a praise to you.
Yeah. And the thing is, it's like I love this industry. I've been in it now 15 or 16 years, which is crazy. I can't believe it's been that long, but it's that long. I love what I do. I love our customers. I love the industry. I love shop owners and even other manufacturers. It's a home. You meet people and they are just incredible. And I think that's what this whole industry is about. Don't you think? It's like people are just so genuinely happy.
I agree with you 100%. And truthfully, you are part of the reason this industry is so great, because you connect people. Like every single time we've had a show, you're introducing me to so and so. And the good news is you've been in the industry long enough that you know a lot of people, and so you kind of go, you two would be great. You two make sense together. You're almost like what is it? What's the word I'm looking for?
Like a match.
Matchmaker. Yeah, that's right. Exactly.
Recruiter, or I don't know, something like. But you know what though? And the thing is, and I do that, but that's just who I am naturally. Really.
Yeah,
like
right.
I like to introduce people. I know that you'll be interviewing someone else that I think maybe I introduced you guys. I don't know. But if you've got a great personality, if you work with a good company, it's like, why not know each other? And sometimes you can't work together,
Sure.
but you really can know each other. And you never know where your path may take you.
Absolutely right. And you surround yourself with good people, good things tend to happen.
Yeah. I mean, even look at customers. Do you remember? I think it was, well, it was Daytona this year. You know, I needed a sewing chair in my booth, and
Yeah.
so I went over and I borrowed a chair from you, and so I promoted that chair.
That's the best move of the whole show. You sold more chairs than I did, and I was in the booth.
Oh,
It's true though. It's so true, and I love that about you. And yes, it is obvious that you enjoy the industry because A, you're good at it, and what if we enjoy something, we tend to be better at it. But you have that energy to you, and I love it. So I obviously immediately thought of you for this.
well,
A, because you're my homie, but also I knew that you've been in the industry longer than me. So, well, actually, if you don't mind, I'm gonna just dive into the first question.
okay,
You've been around. You travel all over the country,
I do.
right? Okay.
Yep.
Have you noticed shifts or how has the industry changed, I guess, recently in the past couple of years? Have you noticed anything major, any shift? And I don't mean necessarily attendance at quilt shows, but demographically or, have you noticed anything
Y-
different?
No, it's kind of weird. You say demographically, obviously for the most part, I don't know, what would you say, 60 plus in the ages, but
Yeah.
in some areas in the country, you do see younger people. In some areas of the country, you see older people, and it's weird, and I really couldn't put my thumb on why that is that, but I feel like it's always been that way though. Um,
Makes sense.
and like I don't know, it's so weird. Like everyone thinks that it's an older demographic, which it is.
It's been
Um,
around for a long time. So, I mean, it's natural for, right.
you it's an expensive hobby.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
machines are not cheap. Fabric is not cheap
Nope.
at all.
You get what
Um,
you pay for.
do what?
You get what you pay for.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing. If someone says, "Oh, well, I bought $100 sewing machine at at Walmart," I'm like, "Oh, well, what are you going to do with that?" It's okay to do a little something, but if you really, whether you want to make a handbag or a quilt or even a dress or something, you have to have a machine that's going to do a good job for you, that you can rely on the stitching and everything else.
Well, absolutely. And we've talked about it before, but and I don't want to knock somebody like, if financially $100 is what you have to spend on a
That's
machine, I would prefer you do that than not
right.
buy a machine.
That's
At the
right.
same time, if you're buying a machine for your child, don't get the toy because it's just going to deter them because it's not fair. That machine is never going to sew anything for them. You bought them a piece of plastic. Like at least give them a fighting chance is what I always say. So, eh,
Right.
but you're right.
And people even buy one for $100. I just was being funny about that, but I don't know. Can you even buy a
I
dollar machine?
I don't know. Well, I mean, I sell pre-loved machines that are fantastic for $100, but as far as a new machine, I don't know. I'm sure Walmart has an $80 something.
Yeah. Yeah.
Probably.
Like you said, I mean, I guess if you're gonna, start off and maybe you don't know what you're getting into, it's just like, yeah, let's just do whatever. But obviously that's not gonna do make buttons for you or, the
Right,
button
right,
or anything like that.
right.
But back to your question, like traveling all across the country, have I seen a change? Um,
So
y-
not to interrupt you real quick,
yeah,
but I guess let me help you kind of steer the direction. So
yeah.
QuiltCon is a prime example of something that I have seen. I'm like, ooh, you know, that to me is a big shift in a positive direction. Did you go to QuiltCon by any chance?
So funny. And QuiltCon hasn't always been that way.
Wait. You were at Daytona. Of course you didn't go to
I
QuiltCon.
was on it.
I knew that.
We have not done QuiltCon, I think, in about 3 years.
Okay.
I We will if we can get back in. I don't know if we'll be able to get back in.
It's tough.
I
Yeah.
don't know if they've done their marketing different. Um, it was rough before, really, really rough. And QuiltCon is more towards the modern quilters.
Right.
Okay. So I think you do get younger people there. Um, I know this year was phenomenal, probably the best ever. I was not there, but I saw videos, I saw pictures,
Right.
and that wasn't from their marketing people. That was from people you and I know.
Oh
Okay.
wow. Right on. Yeah.
People loved it and had fun. Um, so I think that's going to help our industry as well.
Yeah.
They only do one a year and they change locations. What we need
Right.
is more events like that, to reach out and get, people interested.
Yeah, absolutely. Of course, I knew. I don't know why. As soon as asked you, "Are you at QuiltCon?" I think in my mind, I was like, "No, we talked the old time, and you sold chairs for me." We just said that.
That's all right.
But I guess what in my brain, you're not the only person that goes to these shows for Martelli. So I think my mind was going, was Martelli
Oh,
present? But yeah,
no, we did not have anyone there at all. Because, like I said, uh, we spend a lot of money going to shows,
yeah,
and you really have to look at, the attendance, who's gonna be there and everything else. Um, and like I said, we will go next year. The last couple of years has been hard too because there were other shows going on
yep.
all the time.
Yeah, I know, that's tough. In fact, we kinda noticed it in Daytona. We were like, "Whoa," we were feeling it, and we are like, "What's going on?" And all of a sudden, I don't think anybody expected, 20,000 people to be at QuiltCon. It's like, "Whoa." Now, as somewhat bitter as I am because we were at Daytona, we had a great show, but I was like, "Well, I wanna be there with 20,000 people." But it was more of the response to it, the social media, people were just so pumped up, and I hadn't seen that really not at that level since I've been in the industry going to quilt shows myself. So for me, that's a positive thing, even though we
Right,
weren't there. But you know what I mean?
right.
For the industry, I think that was huge.
Well, and I think that promoters need to do that more about the social media. Um, there are a couple of promoters that are very good with it, um, but they're missing out if they don't,
Yeah.
because, uh, you know, eh, you can't just go to quilt guilds anymore and promote you're having an event. You need to get out to the world. You know, like Josh, you do an incredible job. I see you on TikTok, and do you remember, I loved it. One day I'm sitting there scrolling on TikTok and all of a sudden you popped up. I'm like, "Oh my God." And I want people to do that more. And
Yeah.
it's funny because people, um they say, "Oh, I don't like TikTok. I don't do TikTok. It's China." No, it's not. It is
You're
a
missing the
phenomenal
boat.
phenomenal tool.
It
And
is.
I say I'm gonna do it all the time, and I haven't done it, and I need to do it for us. Actually, no matter where if for some reason I ever left and went somewhere else, I would wanna do it for whoever I work with because I think it's a phenomenal tool to get out to younger people, and
Yep.
it's fun,
It
you
is
know?
fun, and it's a totally different mindset, it's a different platform, and I
It is.
get why some people go harumph, especially, and we talk about older folks, like, we love our old I mean, you're why we're here, let's be real,
Yeah,
but a lot of them don't want to mess with the TikTok. A, they don't get it, maybe they see some really negative stuff, and they're like,
yeah,
"Okay," but, like, Instagram is that like middle ground. Like quilt guilds and old school sewers have taken over Facebook. So then the TikTokers are like, well, what do we got? We got this. And so we're going
right.
to dance and be goofy and fun. And so you have, but truthfully, you have to hit them on all the platforms. I don't just do one.
I know, and
Like
but
you got
I
to,
just brought it up because 'cause you're just so stinking cute, and you have so much energy,
we have
um,
fun.
I mean, it's really great.
Well, thank you. But truthfully, it is fun and it's a different sort of I'm not going to take it so serious. I'm going to have fun with it, but people, and you're great at this. We're ourselves. We don't
Yeah,
put on a show like we love this. So, take it to the next level. If you
yeah.
want to if you want to take it to the next level, get a TikTok account and start dancing.
It's so funny, my daughter just got married this weekend, so it's like,
Congratulations.
thank you. I'm kinda like, "Phew," it's over. A phenomenal day, but so literally I had 4 of my childhood friends here,
Oh,
and
cool.
they're like, "Well, will you ever leave the industry?" I go, "No. I love what I do so
Mm,
much. I love our customers. I love and I become friends with them, and then they start following me on Facebook, and I genuinely love them. Now, sometimes I
yeah.
don't remember names. You
Well,
remember
sure.
faces, of course, because especially with me traveling the whole country,
It's a lot.
I'm people everywhere. And after 15 years, I've met a lot of people, you know. I mean, even your customers will come up to me, you know, when they see me somewhere and they'll be like, "We met you at Cut Up and Sew." I'm like, "Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah," you know, but
I remember your face, and they don't. Yeah, you're not hurting anybody's feelings.
no,
It's just nice that they remember you because you're memorable, but all that they would actually feel comfortable enough to approach you, and that's such a cool. Like everywhere you go, you kind of leave your mark, and people remember that.
yeah. No, I hope I do, you know.
You do. So, okay, jump to the what I usually do is my third question, but it's such a perfect segue. So we're talking about the industry and these new quilt shows, and we even talked a little bit before we started recording that some of the shows we've noticed have been down in attendance. So,
Mhm.
and please be brutally honest, where do you see the industry in 10 years?
You know, I hope well, first of all, I don't think it'll go away. All
Uh,
right. I because people are always going to quilt and sew. And I will tell you that one thing that I really that really scared me is when COVID hit, because I was like, oh my gosh, what are we going to do? What COVID did for us though was made people turn to social media,
yep.
and they started really going to YouTube and, you know, doing live stuff and everything, you know, watching more live. I think it was really good for store owners. They had to be different and go turn out of the box and say, oh my gosh, I better get comfortable with this. We created so many more sewers because they had to make masks. You
Yeah.
know,
It
I
tripled the industry.
Oh
Yeah.
my god. I mean, look at how many, sewing machines were sold that they were gone, and people
Mhm.
couldn't buy a new machine. Even if it was $100 machine,
That's
they
right.
couldn't get it, you know? Um, so I think that this industry is just going to get stronger and stronger. Um, I did not attend this year because of my, daughter's wedding, but it's called, H&H. I'm sure you've heard
Oh,
of it. It's
yep. Yep.
or shops. Okay. It's where you go and buy things. Um, it has grown like crazy, and they're getting more and more stores. We're seeing more and more people open stores. And I think it's because the industry is growing. And look at how the machines constantly change with the technology.
Yeah.
You know, it's like it's just going to keep getting better, and exactly better and better. Um, I am starting to see more young people. Sometimes we don't see them until Saturdays because they're working.
Sure.
You know,
Sure.
uh, what I like is when we're doing events, we'll see more young people at the events because they can come for an hour or 2 and it's not gonna
Right.
be a big deal, you know?
Yep.
But I think our industry is just going to continue to be stronger, and I I think that because of the social media presence, whether it's Facebook, Instagram, you know, TikTok, who knows what other new platforms will come out with, that it's going to reach more and more people, and, you know, quilting, okay, not just sewing.
Mm.
Quilting, people always thought of a old ladies thing to do. But like you said, QuiltCon, I don't know if you saw any of those quilts. They were phenomenal. And even, you know, I was
Artwork.
oh my gosh, you know, and it is an artwork no matter what they do. It's just phenomenal. And I think people see it and they're like, "Oh, I'd like to do it." You know?
Yeah.
It's not something you have to do full time. You do it because it's something to do and take stress off your mind and
It's a
everything.
passion and it's a hobby, and if you do something that you enjoy that's creative, guess what? You're working the gears and you're actually becoming healthier because hello, if you're happy, no stress, guess what?
Yeah.
You're healthier.
Well, and funny that you say that about being healthy. Do you know how many women I meet that literally are in their late 80s and early 90s, still sewing and quilting? They don't look it, they don't act it, and brain wise, they're not
Oh,
it.
they're
It-
sharp. Yeah, oh,
They
yeah.
are, because you are using your body, you're using your brain. You know, I mean, literally, you know, from sewing, whether you're quilting or not, you have to cut, you have to sew, you have to have measurements, you have to be able to read whatever it is you're gonna make. And
Yeah.
so it really it's amazing
It's
how
probably all that Martelli product that they're using, taking the pain away, you know what I mean?
exactly.
But truthfully, though, that is the whole premise of Martelli. But I mean, yeah, you're right though. They're doing things. They're active. They're constantly challenging themselves and growing, and that is keeping them young and alive and healthy and happy.
Yeah,
I mean, that's what this industry is. It's so positive. Like it's
exactly.
so positive.
Have you seen, so you know what cosplay is?
I have a costuming club here.
Oh,
Yeah,
you do? That's
yeah,
awesome.
absolutely.
And that's another thing, is that so many people now are getting into that. My husband is in a group, it's a Star Wars group called the 501st.
Oh God,
And oh, you
that's right.
literally, your costume has to be exact. Like you can't be in it if you're not.
Oh, they're
And
the purists.
so
Okay.
many people, and cosplay obviously isn't just Star Wars. There's so many other things.
Oh yeah.
Like, oh,
Cosplay is awesome.
yeah,
Like,
it really
I don't
is.
do it. I'm a big horror guy. Like, I love scary
I
anything,
know you
everything.
do. I've
So
seen your
you've been here for
shop.
Halloween. That's what this was. That's right.
I I love it.
But it's the same mentality. Dressing up as a scary clown is the same thing as dressing up as your favorite comic book character or whatever.
Yeah,
It's that whole like you're creating, you're having fun, you're playing dress up. It's nostalgic. It's escape, whatever.
right. And so many people make their costumes.
Oh yeah.
And but that's where our younger group becomes, it just, the whole sewing industry, I think, even over the last couple years, has grown. And like I said, COVID just made us bring in more people because they wanted, they needed to make the mask and stuff. But I just see this industry just getting larger and larger. I
I
really do.
agree. And that just prompts something. I should have commented it when we were talking about TikTok. Just I encourage anyone and everyone. You don't even have to create an account, I don't think, but just go to TikTok and type in sewing
Yeah,
tutorials. There are, I don't know how many, feels like bazillions,
yeah,
millions of different people, young people, older people, people who are great at this, people not so good. But let's be honest, that you're going to get some of that everywhere. But it doesn't
push,
matter. There are so many sewers, younger sewers, new innovative people trying to get creative and come up with new things all over TikTok. It's really inspiring. It's super cool.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and even YouTube, like I
Yeah.
always try to lead customers to YouTube only because you can, especially if you're learning something new, you want to be able to watch a video to really get it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, even like with a machine, you and I can only do so much for so long. We can
Right.
teach, you can guide them again, but
They go
at a
home.
point, you got to be able to just go and have your hands on it and be doing it. So it's wonderful how technology has really played a part in our world.
Yeah. We walk around with computers.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know. Google it. Now, it's not always true, but YouTube is awesome. Now, I always say you definitely want to learn about Martelli or about a machine from JoAllyn or myself or someone who really is an expert on whatever it is you're trying to learn. But you can't sleep at their shop. You can't sleep at the quilt show. So when you go home, there's so much information out there. So I tell people go to YouTube
Yeah, me.
seriously all the time. Now some of it's great, some of it's not, but you know what? It's all there for you. You pick and choose what you like and who enjoy learning from or watching.
And
Um,
look how many new young designers have come into this industry and just brought incredible, just
the fabric is so
yeah,
cool now.
isn't it? Oh my
It's so
gosh.
cool.
Every time, like, in fact, sometimes, I'll be going through, you know, TikTok because I love it, but Facebook even, and be like, oh
Sponsored by
my God,
TikTok.
they're like, I look, I see people going through their shop. Oh my God, that's gorgeous.
Yeah,
And it's just amazing. I love it. I love it.
absolutely.
Don't you
It's in,
feel, like, inspired? Like, I just I get tired, duh, but I I just it just brings an energy that is just unbelievable, and I think customers are the same way. They just, when they see new things and they're excited, and especially when they get to know us, and I know too for you, like, your customers just love you. And if you go into a shop and it's an old grouchy person, you're kind of like, Hmm.
I'm leaving.
Maybe it's time to maybe
Yeah.
it's time to hire, you know? Um, but
I
it's
always say, not to cut you off. I always say that when we bought this quilt shop, I was like, man, somebody made the analogy once, and so I just basically always say it's like an ice cream shop. Nobody ever goes to an ice cream shop mad.
yeah,
Nobody
you're right.
ever goes to a quilt shop mad. This is
Oh,
a happy place. And so, hello, it's like the easiest job in the world to be around people that are happy.
exactly.
So if you're grumpy, change gear. You do not need to be owning a shop or working in retail, period.
Well, that's true.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. All right. So we're positive the sewing industry is not going anywhere. It's just going to get better, right? That's the takeaway.
Absolutely.
Fantastic. I knew you weren't going to be a negative Nancy. No offense to any
Never,
Nancy.
never. How
All
can you
right.
be?
Well, no, how can you be? I know. And you're in it. You're in the thick of it too. So, I mean, you work long hours. You're all over the place. And for you to stay positive, that says a lot about not only you, but this industry,
Yeah.
truthfully. So keep it up.
Thank you.
All right, I'm going to switch gears. I'm doing a little
Okay.
thing with my guest called, well, it's not, I didn't invent it, but it's a speed round.
Oh, shit. Hey.
Just learning a little bit more about
Ah,
you. All right. So what's your favorite color?
pink.
Awesome. You're the second person with pink. Um, I don't know if this, do you sew?
I
Not,
do. I can sew, yes.
well, do you have
Do
a
I
favorite brand of machine? And this is a safe space.
okay,
Doesn't matter what I
well,
sew.
so you know what? I'm not gonna say I do, and here's
Okay.
why. And here's why. Um, there are a lot of great machines out there. Okay. Now, and there's some machines that I've never even touched. We sell a brand and I think it's great. There's another brand that I think is great. So I don't want it honestly. You say it's a safe place, but if they see this on YouTube, I'm in big trouble and I know way too many people in this
Evil,
industry.
evil laugh. Insert evil laugh. Go.
And here's the thing. I think that every machine is great because it depends on what you're looking for and
Right.
what you need to have done.
Right.
And I mean that from the bottom of my heart. I really do.
Fantastic. Well, and I know you do. And I almost didn't ask you that question. I was like, I will have fun with it because I know you can't say, which is great.
But I
Your answer
could,
should
but
have been
I believe
all of them because they all fit in the nice Martelli table, right? That's a plug. All
well,
right.
and again, you know what? I still even try to stay neutral in that regards because,
That's fair.
I mean, I even like grabbing your chair. I know so many people in this industry, and I don't think there's a bad product out there. I really,
Well, but no, you're right.
you know what I mean? I
For
mean,
the
I'm
most
sure
part,
there
you're
is.
absolutely right. No, no,
I'm
no. I
sure,
totally know what you mean.
I'm sure there is, but so
Yeah, and we won't name any names. So okay. You dodged a bullet. Well done. Favorite band or type of music if you don't have a favorite band?
the Police has always been my favorite.
Nice.
Um, my musical taste is going to be more that 80s new wave. Like I love Duran Duran
I
and
love a synthesizer. Oh,
you know, I'm I, but I listen to country too. Like I'm not a hard rock girl. My husband loves like, all that stuff. Um but the Police has like been my is
no,
my
fantastic answer. I love 80s music. That's my go-to. It's nostalgic for me. I mean, that's yeah. So I love a good synthesizer and the Police they're fantastic. So all right. So favorite movie
ooh,
of all time. You could only watch one movie for the rest of your life.
Grease.
Oh, you're the second person that said Grease. You and Tony.
Really?
Okay, yeah. Well, I'm not surprised. It's fantastic. Come on.
It's just so happy, you
Yeah,
know?
it is.
Like the music is great.
John Travolta in them tight pants. Don't lie. Come
No,
on.
honestly, it has nothing to do.
Oh, well, that's what did it for me. Sorry, I'm speaking for myself. All right.
That's
So,
number one.
how can people find you? What do you got coming up that maybe you want to share with the world and get people excited about, or just you can just talk about Martelli if you want. It's up to you. The floor is
Yeah.
yours.
Um, you know, I mean, of course, I'm at trade shows and stuff. I really want to gear more towards doing events at stores, like like we did the event at your store.
So, by the
Whether
way, not to cut you off, but I should
yeah,
explain for those of you that are watching. I held up I'm wearing a shirt. It was the So Crazy. What was it? The So Crazy Road
spook
Trip. Yeah, and we did a Halloween party here at the shop, but you guys traveled, and so JoAllyn and her team go to shops and put on these amazing events for customers. So that's kind of what we were referencing and why I was wearing her shirt.
And the thing is, even though I love trade shows, but trade
Sure.
shows are 3 days to 4 days, and 9 to 5, 8 to, who knows, sometimes the hours. I truly love being in a store. I love being able to educate the customer and having that interaction with them, but then giving them the opportunity to spend more time afterwards to really learn about what you're doing, and
Absolutely.
um if for some reason I ever left Martelli, I think do I would try to still do that wherever I go with whatever I do,
Yeah,
because
and you would too. Yeah, I mean, absolutely. That's
you
just
know
who you are.
just-
Yeah.
yeah, it really it warms my heart. It makes me happy to teach people new things. It really does.
Yep. And I just got to say, you are a stone cold killer on the sales floor. And I
Well,
mean,
that's
you're
funny though.
you're not like a pushy salesperson. So when I say that, some people think the wrong thing. I'm just like, no, you know your product and you know how to explain it and you make it fun, you make it easy to buy from because you believe in what you're selling. And you're the type of person, I say it all the time, if I sold popsicles, I'm gonna be passionate about popsicles.
Yeah.
Same thing as you.
And
Yeah.
it's funny because I will have can't even talk. Customers will say that to me, and I'm like, "Well, thank you, but yes, I'm a salesperson, but I'm passionate."
Yeah.
I mean, like Martelli, the products are phenomenal,
Yeah.
and they speak for themselves, and they have a solution. I mean, they truly take the aches, pains out of your. Well, you can't get rid of your aches and pains, but they help them.
They help big time.
But and keeping people cutting accurately, which that's the hardest thing. It's a pain in the rear. I used to hate to cut. Now I absolutely love to cut, because it's easy. But um
Yeah.
I
So
yes, I can.
you want to do more in-store
I
stuff.
love what I love. I love it. I,
Fantastic. Well, you can always come here.
I'm going to be back whenever you
Absolutely.
want me.
Absolutely. Oh, that's awesome. All right. I've taken up enough of your time. We're
It went
just
so
past.
quick.
I know, but I got this little timer that's like staring at me, and I'm trying
I
to be
see it.
respectful of your time, but
Uh,
also, yeah, okay. Well, awesome. Sincerely, well, it's always amazing to see you, but sincerely, thank you
like
for taking a little bit of time and chatting with me about this.
I
Joe
appreciate
Allen, you guys will see her at some point in the industry, whether it's in a shop, at a show, or on TikTok dancing.
it. No.
She hadn't done that yet. All right. Well, thank you, Joe Allen. I
All
really
right.
appreciate it. We'll talk to
Thanks,
you soon.
John.
All
See you, honey.
right. Bye.
Bye.